Hey, good. How are you doing, Rick?
Good. What's going on?
Oh, I've got some questions for you.
Okay. I'll see if I
Um,
have an answer for you.
yeah, I tried to find this on the free wholesaling content. And
Okay.
if it's there, I apologize because
It's
I
okay.
tried. Um, I know a lot of people come and you're looking for cash buyers, but I've
Yes.
met a lot of investors who have private money lenders. Um, it's not quite the same because it seems like
Yeah.
they're taking like a second lien position in order to do it, and it's a little bit more complicated at
So you're
close.
talking about cash buyers that basically have private money or hard money, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is going to be really easy. God knows I'm an expert on this. Okay. So um, here, let me do this. That way. You don't mind my handwriting, right? Okay.
No.
So you have two types. Okay. First one's just going to be hard money. Okay. What's your definition of hard money? Well, I'm doing this to help teach you. It's not to embarrass you or anything like that. So,
Sure. For hard money, my definition is that they do pull your credit and they qualify you, and they typically are looking for an appraisal on the property, and you don't have to have like an established relationship with them.
okay. You're actually 100% right. Hard money can kind of do whatever they want. So it's like, so in the old days, God was it the old days, okay? I did some hard money loans. In the beginning, they're brutal. You're right. They want to check your credit. They want to see your experience, and then they want to see if you have any cash in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you go over this side and they actually underwrite the deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want you guys to understand this. In a true hard money, for someone who says, hey, we're focused on the asset, this should be the underlying reason. Okay. Now, the reality is, if you're brand new to the business, you make people nervous. And part of what I teach in freewholesaling.com is to go ahead and just explore relationships with hard money people. And you got to understand, hard money people are like regular people. Like, for instance, I do hard money, but I only do hard money to further relationships with people. Like people I believe in doing amazing jobs. Because I look at hard money as like, if I underwrite it and I know the numbers are good and I can make like a good return and do nothing, I love it. But there is significant risk when you do hard money. Okay. So the next side is over here is if you're brand new, they're going to take all three of these things and they're going to require that plus that. Okay. So number one, if the deal does not cut the mustard, they just don't do it. Like if it's an old house or something like that. If you're brand new and you met with a hard money person before you got the deal, then you can solve credit right off the bat. You can kind of tell them about your experience, and they're going to tell you what they prefer you have into it. Hard money is starting to mimic a lot like regular bank loans. A lot of people want to see 10 to 30% into it because they feel safe. Okay. Now, if sometimes I've seen recent deals where people are buying 50, 60 cents on the dollar and they're still requiring people to put money into it. Remember, when you put money into a deal, what happens, Bersa, for the hard money lender? What does that do for them?
It makes them feel like you have skin in the game.
Yeah. That works well on this side of the equation, not in the coaching, in my opinion. It makes them feel easier. Like, okay, if the crap hits the fan, like your money's going out the door first, then mine, and they're
Mm-hmm.
still taking calculated risks. Okay. So now let's switch over. Said the other one, which is soft money, right?
Oh, I haven't heard it called that, but yeah, just like people using
Okay.
their
We're going to call it soft or
relationships.
private money.
Yeah.
And this is the problem is people make this stuff so complicated. The other thing you have to understand. So guys, you can put in the comments, what do you think the actual rates are on hard money? So what do you think they are? Like percentage wise. So if a regular loan's 7.5% right now, what do you think they're going to charge for these?
Am I allowed to chime in?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I
I
was
got
thinking
12%. I got 9%. What do you think?
I was thinking it was 13.
Okay. So shocking as it is, because I get offers all the time with people with hard money. They're all still between 10 and 12%. Okay, guys, that's not a big difference because you know when rates were 3%, they were still 10 and 12%. Okay. What they really want is the points. Okay. And points go between 1 and 4. So you know what that means. If they were loaning you $100,000 on 4 points, you have to pay $4,000 up front. So if they wanted to loan you the entire 100,000, they'd just loan you 96,000. That's how they do it. And then you might have to bring cash to the table for closing costs. Okay. The other thing is you have to pay all the recording fees. No mortgage, everything. And then you're going to pay an appraisal. Here's the real problem with hard money, guys. It's the points and the fees. They can charge whatever they want. You cannot negotiate it. If they want to charge $700 for an appraisal, you're going to pay it. They figured out how banks do it and they jack it up. Here's the secret to hard money. If you ever had to use it, which I strongly discourage everyone against using it because there's a reason they call it hard money, stop focusing on the interest rate. The most important thing is the points and the ease of getting the loan. Okay. A lot of times you got to get these loans. It's a last resort and you need more than 48 hours. So they typically take at least 7 to 10 days to set up. And remember, they're just like a bank. They're going to check everything right at the closing. And then you got to make them comfortable. Okay. I hate hard money loans. They're difficult. Now, let's talk about hard money when you're selling your properties, right? Is that what you're really inquiring about?
Yes, it's buyers saying they have hard money or private money. And I've encountered somebody with each. So I'm trying to figure out what does that do?
So here's the challenge, okay? I personally don't take people with hard money unless they've done at least 3 to 5 deals. Because the reality is most people don't understand how hard money works. So if I'm looking at from a wholesaler and I'm selling it and people will say cash or hard money, I'm just telling you, if you had a choice, take regular cash because you don't need a permission slip from anyone. A hard money lender can pull the money up right up to your closing date they don't owe anyone an excuse other than themselves. So unless they have a track record, like I have a buyer who's probably bought a dozen properties with me with the same lender and they still drag their feet. And I tell them, listen, you're going to lose your deposit. I'm not playing. And they test me. And then every now and then I take it and they're like, okay, we'll play ball. That's the problem with hard money. It is just like a bank. If you've ever done a regular real estate transaction, banks are notorious up to the last minute, usually being a day or late. And the paperwork's the last minute. The biggest holdup with hard money is they have a packet about that thick. And I'm not kidding you because you sign your life away. You personally guarantee it. So it's just as cumbersome as a regular mortgage. So if you understand it's just as cumbersome as a regular mortgage, the only difference is if you take an upfront deposit and you sign it non-refundable and you agree with the title company and both sides agree it's non-refundable, then you have leverage over it. But sometimes it's a pain in the butt when they don't close. It really makes your life difficult. So if you have the choice between hard money and regular cash, take the regular money every time. And then if it's a hard money and you're getting no action on the property, you might want to get their experience level and ask them if you can call their hard money person. And if a hard money person says, I've never heard of this person, I'm not going to be the first. If it's their first time with hard money, I guarantee you it's going to be a nightmare. So if I take 10 contractors with hard money, 8 of them are a nightmare every time. And I pay someone to go through it all. And they're like, please, here's what they say every time. Please don't give me someone with hard money. I can't handle it. Most people get hard money. They went to a certain course and they learned how to get hard money and they find out why it's called hard money.
What about the soft money?
Okay. So let's talk about soft money. Soft money is what I call handshake money. My favorite kind of money in the world. Soft money is when a family or a friend or somebody you trust lends you money. And they typically what they do, they'll either send the money to the title company or they'll just send the money to your company. And then you basically, you give them a mortgage and a note. Sometimes it's recorded. It should be recorded to keep everyone safe. But I have a lot of deals so like we don't even like do that because we use it like a revolving line of credit. And then basically they get a set percentage, usually between 6 and 10%. No points, no recording fees, and you are the decision maker and you can make very fast decisions. Okay. Soft means it's like your dad's lending you money or someone you know and trust, but you are in control. And that's what it means. And I will do that stuff all day long because it's easier. It's less people I have to go through a decision process on.
Yeah. Do title companies have any problem recording that deed?
They don't care. They'll do whatever you tell them to do.
Oh.
You just, the title companies don't like hard money lenders because they're just, you got to understand it's a bank without bank employees. So there's usually one guy or gal making the decisions and they like, it gets ridiculous. Now, if you guys develop relationships, you can, there's hard money lenders that only lend on the asset itself. So if you've had bankruptcy or you have really bad credit and you buy something 50 cents on the dollar, you're going to pay for it, but you need someone to write it without your credit being on there. Okay. And then if you want to buy it in your LLC, understanding even if the loan's in your LLC, you have to personally guarantee it anyways. Hard money is the word hard for a reason. It is difficult and it's difficult on both sides. I've lent money out and I see the problem is people that get hard money are usually inexperienced people. And that's the clue you need to know when you're selling your property. So if you're on a very, very tight budget, like schedule, like you only got like 2 weeks to get rid of it, understanding hard money is going to take a minimum 10 days if you start today. And most hard money, by the way, they usually want 30 days, if not 45 days. And then they start doing like inspections and appraisals and stuff that like you never agreed to, but they still do it. And so if you're going to take a hard money, just take the biggest deposit you can up front so you get their attention and they understand. And you have to do more than just take a non-refundable deposit. You've got to go to your title company, the escrow agent, and have them sign out a form saying, if they do not close on the property by this date without your permission, they automatically sacrifice the deposit. If you leave money in escrow, say it's $5,000 and you and me disagree on a contract, that money automatically goes to the state where you have to go to usually small claims court and fight it out there. That's the escrow agent's supposed to be neutral. So unless both parties consent, you're in trouble. So a lot of people make that mistake. And it's like, so hard money, just, if you have someone that's never bought a property, they're typically, and you're excited because they're paying more than anyone else, there's a reason. And usually the hard money person is going to go, I can't lend that much. It doesn't make sense. And then a lot of times they have to pay their closing costs. And you go, listen, you have money for closing costs. They're like, I know the hard money guy says he'd lend it all. By the way, hard money people do not give 100% loans plus closing costs to people who have never, ever flipped or rehabbed a property. I would never do it. Suicide. So soft and private money is what you like to hear. And that's the stuff that if you can go out and raise it, because the real challenge in any type of financing outside of banks is how much is it going to cost me and what's the speed to deliver it? End of story. So the first soft private money I got, I paid an ungodly rate, I think 16%, but they didn't charge me points. We recorded a mortgage and I got the property back in like 72 days. This was kind of like a wholesale before I knew how to do them correctly. And then like, that was great. I overpaid them. I gave them an extra $2,000 and they came back and they kept bugging me. And then I eventually whittled it down to about 7%. And then you just keep their money busy all year round. And it's like, you can churn and burn money. But remember, wholesaling, you do it right. You can do assignment fees. Soft private money. A lot of times when someone's buying, hey, my dad's funding it's private money. He just wants to talk to you to make sure you're legit. Like, absolutely. I love that because they're being honest and sincere with you. Hard money, they're usually difficult. They're ice cold and they're ruthless. They're mean, nasty people.
Awesome. This is helpful because everywhere in the process, everyone talks about cash. And I'm like, well, this isn't quite
okay.
cash.
So guys, like, like people they make it where like wholesaling is so complicated. Hard money, just the word hard should like poke your ears out. It can be brutal. Now I will tell you, I did about 15 properties during a certain hurricane here because I got everything. And I had to incorporate hard money. But what got me through it was I set up relationships with these people. If you have a deal under contract and you're new, I don't care what rate you got a good deal. And then you decide to go through the internet to find hard money people, you're doing it backwards. You're going to get hit hard because hard money people appreciate when you reach out and set up a relationship with them before you get the deal, because they're going to tell you exactly what you need. Once you know what you need, then you know how to write the offer, right? And that's the problem. Like, so go to the hard money first person, find soft money, and then go get the deal. Don't do it the other way around, because it's very, very stressful. And then when you have a buyer like that, by the way, a cash buyer with a hard money is not a cash buyer. And you need to understand that up front every time. So it's, so if you want to know if like they're really good, like they say, listen, have you dealt with hard money before? Yeah. How many deals have you done with this guy? Oh, yeah. Okay, great. What's his name and his phone number? Let me call him right now. If they can't give it to you on the spot, they're lying to you. It's just like when a motivated seller goes, yeah, I got to run this by my attorney. Go, hey, what's your attorney's name and number? I'll go ahead and call him directly for you. I'll save you the call. And they can't give it to you, forget it. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's hard money. Like you can do it, but I'm just telling you, if you get a new buyer that took the latest guru coaching course and then clicked, I don't care if it's a crocodile or an alligator lending you money, they're going to go through so many departments in underwriting, just like a regular bank. And you are going to be waiting on the other end. And the problem is you're going to blow off good cash buyers for this person because you think they're paying $5,000 more. And you're going to be, when the appraisal, everything comes back, you're going to be like right in the same boat you were. Like, we don't want to deal with appraisals. We don't want to deal with like underwriting, all that other stuff. Every now and then you got to do it. But like, to me, it's like a last resort, and I'm going to make it so painful if you don't close. But the problem with hard money people, they'll give you the smallest deposit up front, and you immediately take that as a warning. It's really like a pain in the ass. Make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I've got one marketing question for you.
Okay,
if you don't mind. I was wondering how, this is back on probates, how late do you think is it to send a follow-up letter?
After your first one?
Mm-hmm.
Between 30 and 60 days, 45 probably being the optimal. We have this conversation all the time, and you just want to stick to a plan and just kind of do it. So you can play with it, but remember, mail is a little bit different because it sometimes like it's stuck in transit for a week. So like you don't know the actual. So I send one, I'm waiting a minimum of 30 days. And then it's got to be between 30 and the 60th day. Otherwise, they'll completely forget about you. And that's it. I already told you, you can do a third and final one. And then I put them in what I call a catch-all mail. And then we send it out to everybody. But I do a lot of mail. That's you guys don't have to do all that. But listen, those people that teach you, like, you got to send 7 postcards to one person. Well, they're obviously not paying the postage bill, because you're going to go broke if you do that. If you said, Rick, you can mail 10,000 pieces to like each of the 10,000 homeowners, or you can take 3,300 homeowners and mail each of them with like 3 pieces. I would take the 10K single hits all day long. I've already tested it out. I'm telling you, in wholesaling, you're better off just throwing a wide net instead of just like trying to now probates is a very narrow channel, but I find after 2 letters, your odds of getting a deal on probate are like less than 10%. So I just kind of do the numbers game on it. Make sense?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for the help.
Awesome. Okay. Now you know all about hard and soft money. So go out there and just use it. Just be aware when they tell it to you and the person has no experience buying a property, you're most likely going to be wasting your time. Awesome. So if you have normally a $5,000 deposit, go, listen, that's fine. I just need a $10,000 non-refundable deposit. And watch how they score them. They're like, oh my God. It's like, but they're going to go, can I give you 500? They're basically trying to be a wholesaler and not tell you it. And that's where we have to be honest with wholesalers. It's just not going to work. I'm sorry. If you have a buyer, I'll give you a finder's fee. I'm happy to work with you, but you do not have permission to advertise this property. And that's what happens. Most people in that position try to work their way in to do like we call it a daisy chain or like a cold wholesaling. It's usually a disaster. So.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.